All right, guys, early hours this morning, Dokkan did drop a brand new hint, a brand new teaser trailer for the Global Dokkan campaign at 3 a.m. Your boy was finishing up work at those times. I did watch it on the way home, however, so I have already seen both the global and Japanese versions of the trailer, because both trailers are slightly different if you haven't seen them already. For those of you who have, you already know, but it does look like we are getting Future Saga for the Global Dokkan campaign, or at least for a part of it. And it does look like we will be getting Vegito Blue and Rose, or Vegito Blue and Zamasu, but preferably, after the 10th anniversary did introduce this mechanic, a reversible exchange Rose and Zamasu that does fuse. Even though I'm incredibly disappointed and it deflated the Global Dokkan campaign now because of my own expectations, I do still think the potential of a reversible exchange Rose and Zamasu would be pretty sick. That does fusion to version Zamasu. So I would actually look forward to that. So I'm going to quickly play you the Global Dokkan trailer version of this, which for those of you who have already seen this, then you can skip past this. For those of you who haven't, here it is. So we essentially have an actual clip of the screenshot we got the other day, where we have the blue and pink auras flowing through multiple different cities. And then it cuts. Now, the global trailer has this same advertisement, and then has this at the very end, which the Japanese version doesn't have. At last, the time is upon us, which at first glance doesn't really mean anything. Whereas if we go over to the Japanese version, and I have it ready, if I quickly play it and then shut up so you guys can hear it. They had that voice line at the very end, which at first glance you might not realize who that is. But that is the Zamasu Japanese voice actor. If I quickly play you this clip here from Super. You can hear the same voice. It might not sound the exact same because they're two completely different voice lines, but that is the Japanese voice actor for Zamasu, which immediately, as I said, disproves any speculation of potentially having Daima for Global Dokkan campaign, which I know a lot of people, I saw it immediately on the timeline, was incredibly disappointed about not having Daima, which really doesn't make sense to me because so many other games have locked in to putting Daima content into their games. Xenoverse 2, I know Sparking Zero hasn't gone that far up, but they've got quite a few Daima characters in there already. You know, you also have the likes of Legends, they've got quite a few. Even Divers, the game that took over from Heroes, just got adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And Dokkan is still yet to have any premium summonable units from Daima, aside from Mini SSJ3 Vegeta. Dokkan is probably the only game to be missing so much Daima content compared to the others. However, what I will say is, even if we do have Future Saga, or it might not even be Future Saga as an overarching theme, there could be a different theme entirely, you know, when Dokkan gets very specific. You know, maybe like a villainous type theme or something like that, or somehow linked Daima with Future Saga. We could have a theme like that, which somehow manages to tie the two together. I don't know what could, but we could still see part 1 or part 2 have Vegito Blue and a Rose and Zamasu in some sort, and then part 1 or part 2, depending on what Future Saga's taken, could still be Daima themed. We could still get a mini SSJ4 Goku, a adult SSJ4 Goku, and potentially a Goma. We'll see. What I will say is, which funny enough, this was actually one of my theories with the initial screenshot we got, the auras that were flying around the cities, the blue and the pink, did remind me of Vegito Blue and Rose, and that was one of my theories, so I will give myself a slight pat on the back. But what I will point out is this bit right here, not exactly, reminds me of when Goku goes Super Saiyan 4 again, and he charges up his aura, and you have this orange glow go around him. It does really remind me of that. I will say that. So while I know a lot of you, just like me, will be incredibly deflated that we're potentially not getting Daima at all, because it's been a while and I feel like we should have some Daima content in the game more than just mini SSJ3 Vegeta. Like, how long do we really have to wait? I am quite hyped of the idea of a reversible exchange Rose and Zamasu that does fuse into merged Zamasu. Whether or not that the blue Vegito as well is also a reversible exchange unit, of course we'll see, or if it will be a standalone unit. But if we are getting a Vegito blue, what other animations can we use? Because we already have a Vegito blue that has Dokkan original animations. What more can you give this man? Where else are you going to take reference from? Because he is running out of material, I'll tell you that. But as I said, I'm actually quite excited of the idea of reversible exchange Rose and Zamasu. Hopefully they give a revamp to the character, because while Fusion Zamasu for Worldwide a couple years ago was very good, Rose has always been a pretty solid unit, but never been top in the game. Or even with the Fizz Dokkan Fest, got quite shagged, wasn't that good. So I want them to be in their redemption arc and make this Rose unit incredibly busted, and I'll be very, very happy. But at the end of the day, as long as both units are hype, as long as they're both very good, kits are very good, then I am happy. Am I slightly deflated that we might not be getting Daima? Yes, just like you guys, 100%. I want Daima in the game, and I want it now. We've been waiting so long to get some form of Daima content, and we potentially still might not be getting it. But who knows? We could still potentially have Daima in some form in the celebration. It could be part 1, it could be part 2, and then we could have VB and some form of Zamasu unit for the other part as well. Or maybe we're getting full Future Saga. Who knows? We won't know until close to the time when we have the Dokkan Now, the stream, and then we'll get the guaranteed full details confirmed. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We could still have Daima in some shape or form. I won't get your hopes up too much, but I would still hope that we get Daima for one of the parts for the GDC. What I will say though is there is quite a bit of content, if you think about it, EZA wise, to come for a Future Saga celebration. Because if we hop on to even just Rose's side of things, which of course isn't going to come up, so I'll go with Goku Black. We scroll down, we do have a possible Super EZA in the AGL Rose. So that is pretty sick to me. Can make him pretty busted, can work really well with a reversible exchange version of this unit. I think that would be pretty cool. And then not only that as well, we have a major EZA that could come from a Future Saga theme for this celebration, or at least one of the parts. It would help if I could spell right, wouldn't it? And that is this guy right here. In Fusion Zamasu was pretty solid when he came out, but just take a look at this guy's kit. His kit is very good. He has a good base foundation of a good EZA. You know, he is an int orb changer for himself, does gain extra ki per keys for obtained for 5 turns, again, while being his own orb changer. 20% damage reduction, base. They could easily just up that. An extra 2% for every attack received up to 10%. Again, they could also up that. They could also give him more damage reduction attached to a condition attached to him supering, being in slot 1, being in slot 2. And they could really beef this guy up. And his EZA could pop off. So again, while you might be quite disappointed at the fact that this will have Future Saga and Daima might not be a thing, which again, it still could for one of the parts. I do want to keep reiterating that. It could come for part 1 or part 2, and Zamasu and Vegito Blue could be for the other part instead. But we'll have to see. But we do have some pretty good EZAs potentially coming for a Future Saga themed GDC of a Super EZA AJL Rose. We could have EZA Fusion Zamasu, and who knows what else they could do. But right now it's kind of up in the air whether or not we're going to have some form of Daima representation at all for this campaign, from being almost certain that we're going to get it. But I know a lot of you are disappointed. As I said, so am I. I'm quite deflated. But as I said, I'm quite also hyped for a reversible exchange Rose and Zamasu that fuses. I will think that's pretty sick. I'm a Rose fan. I want him to be busted. That's all I'd hope for. But fingers crossed we still get Daima, because we want that shit soon. Soon. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you disappointed? Are you happy? Do you feel neither here nor there? Are you finding the silver lining like me and quite like the idea of having a potential reversible exchange Rose and Zamasu, or just having a new Zamasu unit? Let me down in the comments your thoughts. I want to hear your stuff. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.